When people sign up for these vacations, that's one kind of work. Could you give us a couple of other examples of work they do?
Yeah, in Vietnam and Peru, we built playgrounds as a volunteer project. It's an excellent, I think, volunteer project because we can get it done in 3 or 4 days. And most people in this country don't realize that most children in the world have never had a playground, have never played on a playground. It's something that's almost inherent to all of our childhoods. But to build a playground, a first-time playground for kids, an amazing thing to see them on it. Huge, just emotional payoff. So we do that.
What is it? Tell us what's on the playground.
Well, it's a wooden structure with sort of like a cube, like a fort in the middle, with an awning over it of banana leaves, and then you have swing sets, and you have a slide, and you have a rope ladder, like a big net that goes up at an angle, and then you have, of course, what we call the road monkey bars, which are monkey bars, but we call them road monkey bars.
Yeah, I got it.
My name is Marty Marin. I went on a road monkey trip to Vietnam, and it was really a fantastic experience. The adventure part, we mountain biked through the central highlands of Vietnam. I met Paul von Zielbauer, the founder of Road Monkey, and I'm actually an architect, and I met him in a coffee shop in Manhattan, and he said he wanted to take this group on this trip, and they wanted to build a playground for this very poor community. And my story is actually that I said, all right, Paul, I'll do this, and I started sketching some ideas for this playground. I just emailed these sketches to get some initial feedback, and what I got back actually was an email with a photograph of these Vietnamese kids in this classroom, and they were all coloring. When I looked closer at the photograph, they were coloring my sketches in. That's when I knew I had to go. And that's how I ended up going. We had 4 days to build this. Started at 6:30 or 7 in the morning every morning. We worked kind of all day long. And we were literally finishing the last details on this really massive playground. All of a sudden started to hear this sound, and it was these children's voices because they had gathered all these kids and had these kids, 70 or 80 kids, from the surrounding area and gathered them in one place for a ribbon-cutting ceremony. And I looked up, and it's really a universal sound, this sound of joy. And when they cut the ribbon and these kids attacked this playground, that's when it hit all of us what an extraordinary thing we had done. We hear to this day that the kids are still playing, and that it's the best thing that ever happened to that school. Because one of the ideas of building this playground was the kids at the Catalyst Foundation, they're actually ethnically Cambodian, but they're in Vietnam, and so they're sort of discriminated against, not only because they're very poor, they're from this garbage dump where their families live, but they're not Vietnamese. And so the idea of the playground was that we would build it, and the kids from the school would be kind of on their property but outside of the wall, and the Vietnamese kids would all play together, and they said it's worked beautifully.